The opinions expressed in the Brothers-in-Law show are for informational purposes only and are not a substitute for personal professional legal advice.
Thanks for tuning in to Brothers-in-Law on Go Country 105. I'm Larry Mandel.
And I'm Rob Mandel.
And we've been trial attorneys here in Los Angeles for over 40 years.
On our show, we will discuss current events, talk about legal issues, and have some very entertaining guests stop by. So stay tuned every week for Brothers-in-Law right here on Go Country 105.
Hi, I'm Larry Mandel, and we're on Brothers-in-Law.
And I'm Rob Mandel.
Hey, Rob.
I'm the other half of Brothers.
There you go. Welcome, everyone. And a shout out to Debbie, the mortgage mom. Great show. Thank you.
All right. So, Larry, we've been practicing law a long time, and not only do we represent some very deserving people, but we also run into very interesting people. And we're so fortunate today to have with us in our studio one of the more interesting guys that I've run across in the many years. And he is a man of renown. He is none other than Stuttering John Melendez. Welcome to the show, John.
Oh, thank you very much.
John.
And why are you practicing? I mean, you haven't mastered this thing yet?
Lawyers never stop practicing.
I never get practicing medicine and practicing law.
Yeah. What is that all about?
I know.
It's a constant rehearsal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hire a practicing dentist.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, but he's actually practicing on you, though, John.
That's right. They're always practicing with that drill and everything.
Oh, God,
yeah.
But John...
he has an interesting background, Rob. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, because you are obviously well known as an announcer, as a funny guy. You were with Howard Stern for years. You've been with the Tonight Show. But where did you start? And how did you start off?
I grew up in North Massapequa, Long Island.
No kidding. I wouldn't know by that voice of yours.
No, I know. I have the, which is the second nastiest accent next to the Philadelphia accent.
Yeah.
But which is gnarly.
Yeah.
But actually, believe it or not, Massapequa gave us, not only me, they gave us, Steve Guttenberg went to my high school.
Oh, yeah.
All the Baldwins from Massapequa.
Really nice.
Brian Setzer from the Stray Cats, and also Jerry Seinfeld.
I love that. And then Guttenberg wrote something in you wrote a book, by the way.
Yeah.
And he wrote a little nice thing about
Yeah, Steve's an old friend. I actually, his sister was in my graduating year. Who I hit on profusely, but
did it work out?
No. But see, that's the whole point of my book. You just keep trying. Someone's got to say yes.
Yeah, don't give up.
You were a guy that had to overcome some stuff. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, it's in my book. Unfortunately, I had a great father and also an abusive father. He would, he'd beat us up on occasion. So, you never knew which dad you were going to get.
Yeah.
Which is exactly, which is tough because then I worked for Howard and you didn't know which Howard you're going to get a geek.
That's true, too.
You're going to get either, but
so you're used to it, basically.
Yeah.
But how I got to start was I went to NYU for film and television, and I met a friend there named Mitch Fatel, and he was interning for Howard, and I said, if you should ever leave, please hook me up. And thank God he got into a major car accident and couldn't come to work anymore.
Could have used us, right? Needed a lawyer.
Right. He called us.
He's okay, but the car was totaled. So then Howard heard I stuttered, and they hired me without an interview.
Is that funny?
Yeah.
Now, he just wanted you because you stuttered.
Yeah, but he had no idea. Like, the weird thing is, I don't know if you guys know, I could tell your audience, I became infamous, kind of a cult figure, and this is before Triumph the Insult Dog, and this is before Sacha Baron Cohen and Ollie G.
Yeah.
I interviewed celebrities and asked them crazy questions.
Yeah.
For instance, I'll just give you a few that don't
Let's
worry,
hear.
they'll clean. Like I asked the Dalai Lama, do people go up to you and say hello, Dolly?
And he said,
he laughed, but Richard Gere was there, and he was like, "You're crazy, man."
"Oh God!"
But
can't take it too serious.
And
man.
John, didn't Raquel Welch hit you in the nose?
yes, I got punched in the nose by Raquel Welch for asking her, "Are they drooping yet?" I think she hit.
Sorry,
I think she hit me.
that's not a Me Too moment. Sorry.
Did you deserve it, John?
I think she hit me with the left one. No, but I got strangled by Lou Reed for asking him if he still pleasured himself.
I see.
And judging by his grip, he does.
Yeah.
And I also asked O.J. Simpson if he would sign my knife.
What happened with that one?
Coincidentally, he already had his own. And the best response I ever got was from the late, great Joan Rivers. Without skipping a beat, I said, "Joan, do you think ugly people should be allowed to have children?" And she said, "No, and I told your mother that." But
Good response.
But see, the thing that Howard...
She was great.
Yeah, but the thing that Howard didn't know was that I was doing this way before him. When I was in, on my fourth grade report card, the teacher wrote on top to my mother, "John tends to ask outrageous and penetrating questions in class and stutters when excited." This woman could have wrote my resume. And that's, funny. And then in sixth grade, I at a human sexuality thing, it was all the dads like on a podium, on a riser behind all the sons.
Yeah.
And we were all there. And then they said, "Do you have any questions?" Of course, I had a billion. I don't have to get into the questions here, but they were all about, the female anatomy. and then
Many questions.
And then all the dads were laughing their butts off, but my father had his head in his hands. But then all the kids started writing questions on index cards for me to ask. Because I was the only one with I don't know how we would say it, the chutzpah to ask these kind of questions.
Yeah. I remember going to one of those courses with my dad and my best friend.
Yeah.
And the whole time we just laughed.
Yeah.
It was one of those
Hey,
moments.
wait a minute. I did that with my dad.
Same dad.
Same thing.
Hey, what do you know?
That's right.
And we did. He was funny. He
Yeah.
would laugh through those things, and we would just crack up. He'd be the first one to laugh.
Yeah, he was a fun
So-
dad.
so
but
tell
wait,
us
Rob, I
about-
want to ask him something.
Well, wait a minute. I'm asking a question.
All right,
Well,
go
who's
ahead.
the older brother?
I am.
He is.
of
That's
course.
why I
Good, then
get to
you
go.
get-
That's
you get to
right.
go first.
That's right. Thank you, John.
I'm the youngest of four. So
Yeah.
there you go.
All right.
He's got
You're
it.
discriminating, John.
He's got it. So, John, the stuttering, was that a significant impediment for you?
Yes.
It was.
Yes.
It was something you had to work to overcome.
Yes, and to give you an idea of how bad, of how little they knew about how to cure it, when we were in junior high in sixth grade, they gathered all the stutterers from the school, which was like 5 of us, and they put us in a room, and their idea of speech therapy was to have each stutterer call information and ask for their phone number. Here's the problem. I stuttered on M's. And I had to ask for Melendez on Margaret Road in Massapequa. Oh. And like before my turn, I'm sweating. It was like the stuttering inquisition. But, and what's weird is if you saw the King speech, I don't know if you guys saw that, but that's about a king in the 1920s who stuttered.
Right.
Yeah.
And his therapist had all these tricks. And guess what? Without seeing that movie, I developed all these tricks on my own.
So you
Singing.
were self-
Yeah, you could sing. You could put. I like when I was on the Tonight Show when I introduced saying I was here at the. See, I can't spit it out. I just say V here at Venice Beach. So then I was like panicking. What could I do? So I figured out. I'll put a silent J. I'm here at the Venice Beach.
Nice.
So
Venice Beach.
So I had to come up with all these ideas, and I'll give you a real inspirational story that I think your audience would really appreciate it.
We're Larry and Rob Mandel, the brothers-in-law, here on Go Country 105. Do you have a legal issue you need help with? We want to hear from you.
Find us on Instagram and send us a message. Then tune in on Saturdays at 8 a.m. right here on Go Country 105. Hey, if you missed any part of this show or you just want to hear it again, go to brothersonlaw.com for all of our previous shows and all things Brothers on Law.
When I was on the Stern Show, like in my heyday, the first 3 or 4 years when the Stuttering John thing was like a cult phenomenon.
Yeah.
And I got a call from a high school teacher, and she said, look, I have this African-American kid, he's about 15, 16. His name is Conroy Arnold. And he really stutters bad. He looks up to you. Do you mind speaking to him? And I said, sure. So Conroy comes into the office I was occupying at K-Rock. And I'm telling you guys, this kid could not spit out a word. It was so sad. I had tears in my eyes. And I got out of him that he was going on a date that night. He was taking a girl that he really liked to the movies.
Oh, sweet.
So I said, all right, Conroy. And I pulled this out of my, out of my butt. I obviously, I'm not a speech therapist. I said, do me a favor. Bring a notebook and a pen. Because this way, if you can't talk at the movies, you can at least write what you want to say down so you can communicate. Right. And maybe by having this crutch, it'll alleviate, the pressure to speak, and maybe it'll help you be able to speak more fluently.
Right.
So the kid walks out of my office, never hear from the kid in 10, 13 years, ever again. When I give my notice to Howard that I'm leaving to go to the Tonight Show, we were all going to Atlantic City. So we're at the Borgata, the high-class restaurant, and we get done with our dinner, and the waitress comes up to me and says, John, do you mind speaking to our head chef? And I go, sure. What's his name? Conroy Arnold.
Did you remember at that point?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I was always wondering what happened to this kid.
That name was burned in your brain.
So he walks out, grown man, tall, handsome, in the chef's outfit, and he comes up to me, does not stutter at all. Not one stutter. I say, Conroy, what happened to the stutter? And he goes, John, I still carry around that notebook and pen.
Oh, my God. That's so touching.
Isn't that great?
That is a testament.
And he said, I don't need it for the speech anymore. Now I just write all my recipes. And then the joke is, but I swear this is true. Knowing me, I had to ask. I go, well, did you get lucky that night? And he goes, yeah. And I go, crap! I gotta start carrying around a notebook and a pen.
Larry, give me that notebook, please.
No, but that's a true story. And
wow,
I posted the story on Facebook, and then Conroy responded, entirely true.
I love that. That's great.
I love having that kind of story.
Hey, John, I wanted to ask you, one of our favorite movies is My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
And you interviewed Fred Gwynn, who was the judge.
Yes.
Yeah. How did that go?
It was probably mine and Howard's favorite Stuttering John interview, because he was so nice, and I was asking such ridiculous questions. He was at an art exhibit, and I had to promise the publicist, who was a beautiful blonde, I had to say, she says, don't ask any Munster questions, don't ask any Car 54 questions. And I promised her, I gave her my word, and then every question with her there, me and Fred was it hard getting into that green makeup? And then,
well, wait, we got to tell the audience. Fred Gwynn was Herman Munster.
Yeah.
He was, before that, Car 54, Where Are You?
Yeah.
And he's the judge in My Cousin Vinny.
Yes, right.
Boom, now go.
Yes, so then I had to ask the question, did Vincent Van Gogh ever dress up like Frankenstein? and then he had to just say, John, I'm going to make believe I didn't hear that question.
The gentleman.
But he was so nice.
Yeah.
And he has what I have. It's like, because when I saw My Cousin Vinny in the theaters, as soon as Fred Gwynn came on the screen, the first thing everybody said, Herman Munster.
Yeah.
And, I get pigeonholed like that, too. Like, I've been in movies, dude, where's my car? And as soon as I come to the screen, Stuttering John, it's, people just know you as that,
that character.
You're kind of labeled
in
that regard.
Yeah.
Stay connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and of course, brothersonlaw.com.
Hey, if you missed any part of this show, or you just want to hear it again, go to brothersonlaw.com for all of our previous shows and all things Brothers on Law.
Jay Leno, is he a nice guy? He seems like a nice guy.
Jay is one of the nicest bosses you could ever have. I worked with Jay for 10 years, and, you can't, I'll give everybody an example, because Jay got so much flack over the, the Team Coco thing when they said Jay took the job from Conan.
Right.
Just to give, I was there during this time. What really happened is Conan told the NBC executives, if you don't get rid of Jay, I'm going to leave in 5 years. So he laid down the gauntlet. So then Jay gracefully stepped down, only to have Conan's ratings go in the dump, and then NBC asked him for his job back, and Jay's like, well, yeah, and that's to make a long story short. Everything's in my book, Easy for You to Say, which was a bestseller on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
That came out in 2008.
Easy 2018.
Yeah, last year.
But I will say that this is an example of what a great mensch that Jay Leno is. When Jimmy Fallon was going to, was about to take over, they said to Jay, we want you to step down in February, even though his contract wasn't up until September. But they wanted him to step down in February because they wanted to promote Jimmy Fallon during the Olympics because NBC had the Olympics, so they wanted to get as much steam as they could. Jay, this is what he did. He said, okay, I'll step down. You don't have to pay my salary, but I want you to pay every one of my 150 staff members their full salaries up until September in one bulk sum.
Okay.
So I got a 6-figure payout. Thanks to Jay, and that's
Kudos
just
to Jay.
That's just me, and I, like there was other more higher paid. I stutter on the R's, even though it's a W. Higher paid writers there, but I mean that must have been a $15 million payout.
Yeah,
and Jay did that. You know, this is what Jay does. You know, which the juxtaposition between him and Howard is. There's a very stark contrast, you know, when it comes to that kind of thing.
What did you do on the...
Howard can be a tough guy to work with because he seems very cool in his interviews, you know.
But now he does. But you know, you know, he's kind of trying to rewrite, you know, history, and it's kind of sad to see if you're a true loyalist Howard Stern fan. And for me, I was there during the heyday of Howard when it was cutting edge, and now he's trying like. I've always said this. He always wanted to be loved by the entertainment community. Yeah. Which is why he got so mad. I was on a show called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And I got national exposure, and all the celebrities were loving me, and I ended up getting an appearance on The Tonight Show, which was my dream. I prayed on my cot to God, please.
As a stand-up, you mean?
No, just as a guest. I said, I was like, God, on the cot, when all the other celebrities like Melissa Rivers and Bruce Jenner and all the
Caitlyn.
Robin Leach, they were all complaining about, I'm in my underwear, it's pouring on me, and I would just lie in the cot and pray that Jay was goofing on the show and I could be a guest. And then I make it to the last day, and then my wife tells me, I have a surprise for you. You're booked on the Tonight Show. Sweet. Which I got chills right now when I tell the story. So I got chills. I flew on the plane from Australia. That's where the show was shot. To the Tonight Show. I wrote my jokes in the town car on the way there. Did the appearance. And killed it. Yeah. And it's like that Eminem song, you know, lose yourself in the moment.
That's right.
And it's being at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. And right when we hit commercial break, the executive producer W. Vickers and the head writer Joe Medeiros offered me a job.
I love it. And so what
that's
did you
an American,
do?
So
John, what was your role in the Tonight Show?
I was the announcer. I always make the joke, what is wrong with the Tonight Show? They hired a stutterer to be their announcer. That's like entrusting Charlie Sheen with your Coke.
Yeah, indeed.
Have you suffered or been injured by someone else's negligence? When you need a legal team that will stand up for what is right, won't give up the fight and obtain justice, call 818-886-6600. Mandel Trial Lawyers specializes in personal injury cases of all types. Whether it's a car accident, product or premises liability, dog bite, or a catastrophic injury, Mandel Trial Lawyers are there for you when the fight is worth it. Call now for your free consultation. 818-886-6600. Let the scales of justice tip in your favor.
Okay, now I got a Jay Leno story. About a month and a half ago, I'm in a pizza restaurant. Won't mention the pizza restaurant. Really good one on Melrose. And Jay comes walking in with his wife. No, it wasn't Mulberry Street.
All right.
No, I can't remember the name of it. Now I'm all messed up. And he gave us a big smile, but he wanted to be, left alone. But the funniest thing about it was that, he's there with his wife, he's eating, I go out in the parking lot, I'm looking for the car, where's the car? He had driven there in a Mini Cooper.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that weird? Yeah. Because there wasn't any other car in the parking lot besides mine and this other car.
It must have been some first off the, the first one off the line. He gets cars for free from all these companies.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because then he'll put it on. Well, I don't know if it's quid pro quo. That seems to be the saying lately. But but
it's a legal term, by the way, John.
No, I know that.
Something for something.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? It's a Latin term, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you, who scored higher on the bar? You were.
I'm raising my hand.
Who took the bar first?
I tell you what, that's because you're a lot older.
Yeah,
I
doesn't matter.
I can never pass a bar. I go right in.
Larry does too, by the way.
Good joke. I like that. But, hey, John, so what's on the horizon for you?
Well, we just came out with the book, and I'm working on my next one. It's called John Line Dating.
John Line Dating?
Yeah, ever since my divorce, I decided to go on Match.com and Plenty of Fish, and 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 Tinder and Hinge.
How's it working out?
It's been okay, but the stories are just. Let's just say there are some crazy people out there.
Oh yeah,
crazy people.
Oh yeah.
So I have a date.
Crazier than Howard Stern.
Yeah, I have a date today in Marina Del Rey.
Oh, you do?
For a girl I met on Hinge.
Not Unhinge. Hinge.
No, it's Hinge.
Okay.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know how that goes.
So the name of your first book that's already out is called Easy for You to Say.
Easy for You to Say.
And it's on strictly on Amazon, or can you get it in a bookstore?
Oh, no, you can get it at Barnes & Noble. But it's, like Jay did a blurb in it. Like
Cool.
Larry the Cable Guy, Guy Fieri.
Oh, yeah.
Steven Weber, Richard Lewis, Jillian Barbary. A lot of my celebrity friends.
Richard Lewis, he's still around.
Yeah, I just had him on my podcast.
He's great. He was on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Right, he was on that
a
lot. It was very funny. Have you had a stint on that with Larry David? Or?
No, I wish. I would be great on that show.
Yeah, you sure would.
You'd be
And it's
super
one of my
great.
favorite shows. You know what? I found out when I had Richard Lewis on, they went to summer camp together. Larry David and Richard Lewis.
Really?
As
they
kids.
They didn't know it at the time, but they hated each other. And then when they started doing comedy, they were talking, and they were talking, and Richard went, well, "Yeah, I went to summer camp in Jersey," and Larry goes, "Yeah, I went to that camp," and then they went, "What years?" The same years. And then Richard went, "Holy crap, I hated you." And then Larry goes, "I know, I hated you too." And now they're best of friends.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah, well, Larry David, is he anything like he portrays himself in Curb Your Enthusiasm? Is he that neurotic?
That is
Yes.
him.
Yes. Yeah, that is him. There's no acting
my
in it.
God.
Which is why George Costanza was based on him.
That's right.
Just having all the quirks.
But George was a little more lovable than the Larry David character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a few great Jay Leno stories if you want.
Sure, tell us one.
All right. This is in my book because I have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and
So do I.
yeah. I
All
know.
lawyers have that.
Yeah. But Jay Leno has it, and he has it bad. The guy wears the same shirt every day. It's actually not the same, but
The blue denim.
always the blue denim.
Yeah.
But he's got like 20 or 30 blue denim shirts in his closet.
That is a little OCD, wouldn't you say, Rob?
And then I asked him once, he goes, I just don't want to have to choose between shirts. Now I just have to, I just have the same shirt. I don't have to choose. But anyway,
Nice.
So Jay is very OCD, and before he had to go on stage before every Tonight Show, he had to touch the specific door handle. So he had to touch the door handle. So a writer there, a good friend of mine, Anthony Colecca, who's writing for Kelly Clarkson now, he thought it would be funny. Now, to me, it's just torturous.
Right.
He thought it'd be funny to stand in front of the doorknob.
Oh.
Right when Jay's name's being announced.
Yeah.
So there's Jay.
What a brat.
And he's like, and he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So right in the last moment, he just reaches his whole body around Anthony, touches the doorknob, and runs on stage.
Oh my God! Did he want to kill Anthony after that? or-
I'm sure he didn't think Anthony was doing it on purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
But Anthony was. And then
Yeah.
another funny story was I used to do a bit called "Is His Head Bigger Than Mine?" And it was like I would have like a picture of, let's say, I don't know, Chris Christie in outer space
boy.
of his head, and then 2001 Space Odyssey would play, and then Jay would come in like the moon,
Yeah.
and then eventually eclipsed the other head, and it became like a running bit on the show. So then another writer was like, a good friend of mine was like, "Hey, John, I like the bit, but it should be something like that we can't manipulate pictures. Like, how about what weighs more than Jay's head?" So I go, "Oh, you mean like what weighs more than Jay's head, an average sized pumpkin or Jay's head?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "All right, so let's go pitch it to him." I go, "But you better do some talking too." Of course, that writer doesn't say a word. It's just me.
Yeah.
And Jay goes, "Yeah, if you think it's funny, all right, I'll do it if you think it's funny." So we ended up getting a bathroom scale, and in Jay's office, he lied down and put his head on the scale.
I love it.
And he wouldn't put his full weight down on it because I think he was a little insecure because his head weighed 4 pounds. The average head weighs 8, so he wasn't putting his full weight.
That's right.
So that bit didn't air.
That's fun. Now you do some impressions. You do Howard Stern too, don't you?
I used to, but I can't really do it anymore. John, it's Howard. I used to have that, that that lower case.
You do have a radio voice.
I
that's
do have
for
a radio
sure.
voice.
Yeah.
That's when you said what's next for me. We've been talking to a radio station in Orange County about getting my own show, and that's
Sweet.
that's what I want.
You can start here.
Yeah.
You know, you can be our announcer for a while.
Yeah.
And we'll
Hey.
launch you.
The
Welcome.
Brothers on Law.
Yeah.
Wait, welcome to Brothers on Law with the Mandel Brothers.
There you go.
Today's guest, Stuttering John Melendez.
Yeah. Now, so is there a website or like a fan site for you? Or
StutteringJohnMelendez.com. I'm on Twitter at StutteringJohnM, and on Instagram, Stuttering John Melendez.
Perfect.
I remember when my website was just stutteringjohn.com, and some guy this is when I was on the Stern Show, and some guy stole the name.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And I found out the guy, and I ended up calling him, and I'm like, just give me my name back. And he was like,
just give me my name.
yeah, and he's like, well, yeah, right. And he's like, well, how much could you give me? I go, I don't have any money. I'm an intern.
Yeah.
And then he goes, well, do you got any porn? And
What?
Yeah. And I go, well, we have like a whole box at the Stern Show. Everybody would send
I
us
love
porn.
it.
And he goes, I'll take it. So he came down,
the
and I
show.
gave him a box of porn, and then he gave me
left
my
your-
domain
yeah.
back.
Now, can
a
I
good
see your
trick.
domain name?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking, now, can you steal someone else's name?
No,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
not.
We're Larry and Rob Mandel, the Brothers on Law, here on Go Country 105. Do you have a legal issue you need help with? We want to hear from you.
Find us on Instagram and send us a message. Then tune in on Saturdays at 8 a.m. right here on Go Country 105.
John, we feel so privileged to have you on the show, man.
yeah,
You're a great
great.
guy and a lot of fun.
Very interesting,
And
John.
unfortunately, we have a half-hour show, so we got to start wrapping it up.
Wow.
But
I thought
give
it was
us-
45 minutes. That's why.
No. We
okay.
got to warm you up for 15. That's why.
Oh, okay.
But I tell you what, give us one more little
Anecdote?
Anecdote, yeah.
Let's see. I guess. Let's see.
I think I stumped Stuttering John.
No. How about I tell you about my phone call to Donald Trump?
Perfect.
Yeah, let's hear
yes,
that.
let's hear
All
that.
right, this is. I'm gonna because I know we only have 2 minutes for me to do this, which is like brutal for a stutterer. Okay, here we go. So we didn't have a guest on our podcast, so my producer said, let's just call the White House. So I call as Stuttering John because I've hung out with Donald Trump, and they hung up. So then we said, just like in My Cousin Vinny, which is weird that you brought up.
Yeah.
Like how, remember he changes Callow to Gallo?
Yeah.
We changed Melendez to Menendez.
Nice.
And then we said, let's call as the New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez. So I call as Bob Menendez's assistant with the worst British accent. This is how the call. This is how
Kind
the
of
call.
like mine.
This is how the call went. I go, hello, this is Sean Moore for Senator Bob Menendez. They go, who? I go, Sean as in Connery. Moore as in Roger. I'm a big Bond fan. As if I name myself.
Yeah.
They go, okay, well, he's in Dakota right now, but we'll call you back. So they call me back. They go, we have one question. If you're Senator Bob Menendez's assistant, he's in Jersey. Why is your cell phone area code 818? I go, it's because we're on holiday. And they go, all right, we'll have them call you back. And then I'm driving. By the way, that English accent was the worst English accent since Lindsay Lohan in The Parent Trap.
Yeah.
Okay. So then they call me back. Jared Kushner and Donald Trump call me back from Air Force One. I have a 4 to 5 minute conversation with Donald about immigration reform and about his Supreme Court justice picks. And let's face it, I don't sound senatorial. I sound janitorial. And it made national news. The Secret Service was banging on my door. And I hired
Ouch.
Mike Avenatti, and he got me out of everything.
Really?
So there you go.
That's a great
There's
story.
my story, and I did it in
Wait a
less than
minute.
2 minutes.
Wait a minute. Is it illegal to call the president?
It is if you do it for monetary gain, but I didn't make any money off of it.
All right,
so they had no
you're
case
safe.
against me.
Well, now hopefully you will.
Hey, was that a
just
good
kidding.
anecdote?
That was
that was a
great.
good one.
Thank
So-
you.
Guys, it's
All
time to
right.
wrap up our show, and we want to thank Stuttering John Melendez for taking the time and coming down.
Melendez.
Yes.
I said Melendez.
Yes, he
Okay.
did.
Okay.
If
I
we're
love
taking
when
the
brothers
time-
fight.
Yeah, and we do. Hey, we really
And we
had-
fight for you, too.
Yeah, and we really enjoyed
Who's a
you
better
having
lawyer?
us. Me. We really enjoyed having you on the show, John. If you missed any part of the show, you want to hear it again, you want to listen to our previous shows, go to Brothers on Law for all things on Brothers on Law.
And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in, and check out next week's show at the same time, 8 a.m. here on Go Country 105. And remember, let the scales of justice tip in your favor.
Thank you.
Awesome.
The opinions expressed in the Brothers on Law show are for informational purposes only and are not a substitute for personal professional legal advice.